Hey yoga-centric aerial yogis, it's Kristen here. I miss you guys and I miss being able to teach you guys and be in the studio, and I'm sure you guys do too. I'm thinking about all of you, and Yoga-Centric has an amazing community out there that supports you. I know there have been a lot of videos that are being put on Zoom that everyone can do from home for mat class, and I know that us aerial teachers also want you to have some resources. If you are fortunate enough to have a silk hung at home, you can actually also do some aerial yoga from your own house while we are stuck in this quarantine. So I can't wait for us to be able to see each other again in the studio, hopefully very soon. And I hope that you guys are staying safe and healthy, and your families as well. But today I put together a little flow. We'll do some stretching, and it's kind of a mermaid theme. So we'll do a couple fun things in the silks, and it'll be about 20-25 minutes or so. So I hope you enjoy it. And as always, please listen to your body and be safe. Okay, we'll get started. So first we'll do some stretches to get us nice and warmed up. So we'll do some taffy pull circles. You can do this two different ways depending on how much space you have in your area. If you have enough space, do it from standing, and you can take a half wrist wrap. You can take your feet and glue them to the floor right in the center and start to take some nice big body sways, just like this. Now, if you do not have this much space, you can also do taffy pulls from a chair position. So you would take a thoracic wrap, so right under your shoulder blades, bend your knees, and then you can just also move yourself in circles from that bent knee position, and it still gives you a really nice release through your spine, gets everything warmed up and ready to go. So whatever works for you and your space, go ahead and take about 8 circles to one direction before we will pause and switch sides and go the other way. Feels so good to get up and be active, which is hard during these days being stuck at home. Spending a lot of time on the couch, snacking, watching movies. Okay, come back to center, and you can go ahead and stand and bring the fabric in front of you. So we're gonna take a half wrist wrap. So bring your arms wide, and then you're gonna bring them through the center, grab onto the poles, slide your hands down to the U of your fabric. You can widen your feet here. I really like my feet wide when I do this forward fold stretch, but whatever feels good to you is fine. So take an inhale, and on your exhale, start to push your hips towards the back of the room and push your hands towards the front of the room. Straighten your arms and hinge at your hips, coming into a nice fold so your chest is parallel to the floor. Push your weight back into your heels at this point, and don't be afraid to put weight in the silk. So I'm really pushing down so that I can release my body weight, knowing the silk will hold me, and get a nice deeper stretch. We'll start to sway side to side a few times. So nice release through your shoulders. It also wakes up your hamstrings, or at least I feel it. Now come back to center, and we're gonna bend your elbows. So really release through your neck. Let your chest come lower towards the floor. Bend your elbows. Just like gravity, pull some space into your spine when you do this. Now start to shift forward and put the weight into your toes. Shift back and put the weight back into your heels. Do that a couple more times. Get a feel for how different the stretch is depending on where you put your weight. Come back to center, push down on the fabric so that you can slowly stand yourself back up, release your fabric, and we will start to stretch out our legs. So you can put your right foot into the U of your fabric, hop back just a bit so that you are just about a foot behind your point of suspension where your fabric is hanging. Go ahead and extend your right leg forward and long, and take a moment to make sure both hips are equally facing the front of the room. We're gonna do side sweeps out to the right wall. So on your inhale, sweep your right leg out towards the wall, pause, exhale, bring your leg back to center. Continue doing these. This is about being slow and controlled. You should really have to use both glutes to make this happen. I especially feel it in my standing leg glute, especially when you take that pause out to the side wall. We'll do one more of these. Pause here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center. All right, good job. Grab onto the poles of your fabric fairly high. You can hop so you are directly under your point of suspension. We'll take some hamstring stretches. So take an inhale, exhale, lengthen your right leg and push your right foot towards the front of the room. Both legs stay straight here. Your arms are straight and both hips are facing forward. So you may have to push your right hip back just a little bit to make sure they're even. This is an intense stretch through your right hamstring, but also as long as your hips are square, you'll feel a stretch in your standing leg quad as well. So just keep pushing forward and keep breathing. Sometimes we tend to hold our breath at certain points in deep stretches when we go upside down. So remembering to breathe in aerial and yoga in general is so important. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. We'll go out one more time. So go ahead and prepare. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your right foot towards the front of the room. Now, if you want some extra stretch this time, you can come up onto your back toes. It gives you a little more space to push forward. You could also take a little bit of a slight back bend and open your chest. Let your head drop back. Whatever feels good for you. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. We'll take pigeon, so go ahead and drop your right knee out toward the side wall. We'll float forward, so first hold high on the poles of your fabric and lean back, then pick up your left foot and then put it back down. And then you can lean forward into this really deep hip stretch. So you should feel this right through here. Make sure you're continuing to drop your right knee out to the side. And if you want a deeper stretch, you're gonna push your foot farther away from your body, and that will give you a little extra space as well. Remember to breathe here. This is one of my favorite stretches in the whole world. We hold so much tension through our hips and we don't get to really stretch it that much. So there's a lot of kind of feeling that releases when I'm here. Take one more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and reach back high onto the poles of your fabric and you can float back right under your point of suspension. Keep your right foot in the fabric, extend it long and turn toward the side wall. So you may need to hop once or twice back behind your point of suspension and just start to slowly push your right foot towards the front of the room and then pull yourself back to center. It's a really slight movement, but it's very effective. Both legs stay straight. On this next one, stay pushed out. Bring your hands either to your thigh for some extra stretch, or you can come all the way down to the floor. If you want more still, walk your hands towards the front of the room, straighten both legs, and come into a side split for 2 breaths. Wherever you are, hold for 2 breaths. Go ahead and walk yourself back in, stand up, and you can release your right foot, shake it out, and we'll move on to the other side. So, back under your point of suspension, left foot goes into your fabric. We're first going to do the side sweeps. So maybe take a slight hop back, lengthen your left leg, make sure both hips are facing forward. Inhale, open your left foot out toward the side wall. Exhale, bring it back to center. Keep doing that for about 5 more times. Again, your glutes should be on fire when you do this. Mine definitely are. Especially if you're taking that pause when your foot reaches that side wall. All right, last one. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Good job. Reach high onto the poles of your fabric. You can hop forward slightly. We'll take the hamstring stretch. So take an inhale. Exhale. Push your left foot towards the front of the room. Both legs are straight. Your arms are straight, and just push forward to feel that stretch through your left hamstring. Again, if you need to maybe push your left hip back just a little bit, you'll also feel it in your right quad. Take 2 more breaths here. Come on back to center, and we'll move to pigeon. So drop your left knee out toward the side wall, hold high onto your fabric, lean back, pick up your right foot, place it back down, and you can lean forward into this hip stretch. So again, keep your left knee dropping out, and you can play with how deep your stretch is by pushing your foot, either having it closer to your body or pushing it nice and far towards the front wall. Take a few breaths here. I think it's so important, especially during this crazy time, to be able to find time to release stress and do things that I like to do and try to get away from the kids for a little bit of time, which is a challenge. Inhale, exhale, go ahead and float back right under your point of suspension. Actually, maybe hop back just a bit, because we're going to turn to the side and start to push your left foot slightly forwards and then pull it back. When I do this, I'm pushing down in the fabric with my foot to be able to engage the muscles that I need to use to pull myself back. One more time, hold this time. Again, bring your hands either to your thighs, to the floor, or you can walk yourself forward for a split. Wherever you are, take 2 breaths. Come on back to center, stand up, release your foot, take a little wiggle. Good job. Okay, so we're stretched out, so we're gonna go ahead and take an inversion, basic inversion. So come on to the front of your fabric. Now you're in your house, so I'm going to assume that you have your fabric hung to a height that is appropriate for you. Remember, you're going to want to place the fabric on your low back. So this is really where I like to have mine, and I'm using my hands to hold the fabric in place until I'm able to lean back, which locks it where I need it to be. Walking my feet back under my point of suspension so I don't swing all over the place. Then I can straighten my arms. I can bring my legs up to a diamond. Remember, legs go wide. Then I can come to a straddle, lower my head towards the ground, and I'm now locked in to my inversion. So go ahead and do that and just hang for a minute. Just let space in your spine, play with your legs. You can come to Spider-Man if you like. Now go ahead and crochet your legs in your fabric and walk your hands forward for a nice stretch here. So you can actually dip your torso down, let your arms reach long. You can even swing side to side. You can come to diamond legs if you'd like to do that. It's a nice chest opener and a really nice stretch through your shoulders. You can straighten your legs, whatever feels good. Do that for a moment. Then go ahead and release, coming back to your inversion. Reach up, widen your legs, and come back down to the ground. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of a mermaid flow. So it's stuff that's fairly easy and safe to do in your fabric from home. Most of you have probably done most of this in class before. So first we're gonna start from seated, and we're gonna practice mermaid sitting on the fabric. So just for a little bit of a strength challenge, to get into your fabric, grab high onto the poles, pull yourself up, and lower yourself softly into your silk. Now, to do mermaid from seated, we're first gonna do the right side. The same arm that holds the fabric is always the same leg that moves. So I'm going to hold on to my right pole with my right hand, fairly high. Then I'm going to start to lean my torso back and rotate my body towards the left side. Now, as I do this, I'm going to move my right leg. So my right leg is going to come up through the center of the fabric, and then I'm going to bring my legs together when it comes through to the other side. I'm still holding high on my fabric. My hand has not slid down. I can then elongate my arm and my legs, point my toes, and I'm in mermaid. Now to come back, right leg moves. So I'm going to reverse what I did. I'm going to lift my right leg. I can then grab onto my left pole with my left hand, bring my right leg back through, and sit. So that is mermaid. Let's try it on the left side. So this time, left pole, left hand. I'm gonna then dip my torso back and start to rotate towards the right wall. My left hand is holding, so my left leg is the one that moves. My left leg comes up through the center of the fabric, and then I bring my legs together on the other side. I can now point my toes, extend my arm, and I'm in mermaid. To come back, my left leg is going to move. So again, I bring it up, back through the center of the fabric, and then I can grab both poles and come to a seated position. So let's do that one more time on each side, just a little bit quicker. Right side, right hand to right pole, I rotate to the left. Right foot moves, right leg comes up through the fabric, legs together, my left arm reaches long. To come back, right leg comes up, back through the center of the fabric to seated. Left side, my left hand grabs high on the left pole. Lean back, rotate toward the right side. My left leg comes up through the center. My legs come together on the other side. To come back, I will reverse it. Left leg up, back through the center, and I can come to seated. So there you go. Good job. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna add on to it. So we're going to invert again and come up to goddess pose, or we've called it diaper for a long time. I just think goddess sounds a lot more empowering and cool, and it's one of my favorite poses. So I'm gonna call it goddess for now. So go ahead and invert. Now, to come up to goddess pose, you're gonna bend your knees, bringing your legs through the center of the fabric. Bring your heels towards your butt and lock them into place. I'm then going to use my core to pull my body up and grab on to the poles of my fabric. I then walk myself up, and now my legs need to work. So I'm simply going to straighten my legs, widen to a straddle, and pull my torso up in between the fabric. And I'm now in goddess or sky goddess. If you want to adjust, because this is pinchy, you can pull up and kind of wiggle around to get to what feels a little bit better for you. So we're now going to practice rolling down into mermaid from goddess, ending in chandelier. So many of you have done where we come from here going down to chandelier, but you can actually pause in the center and come to a mermaid. So that's what we'll do today. It's very similar to what you just did from seated. So from here, we're gonna do the right side first. So my right hand comes to my right pole. My left arm and shoulder are gonna come in front of the left pole and grab on to the right pole. I'm then going to let my body fall forward around the right pole, and then I'm going to pause. So instead of coming all the way down to chandelier, I'm gonna be very controlled and pause when I get to this point, which I'll show you now. So I'm rolling forward slowly. Right about this point, my butt is coming off the fabric. I'm going to continue holding on with my right hand, but I'm going to release my left. I'm then going to squeeze my legs together. I am now in mermaid. You can play with your bottom leg. You can feel super cool and pretty. When you're ready to come out, you're going to continue that roll down to chandelier. So at this point, you're going to rebend your right knee because it's the one that's on top. You're then going to allow your hand to start to slide down. And look, you are then in chandelier. Let's try the other side. So again, we'll invert and come up to goddess. Legs come through the center. Bring your heels towards your butt. Reach up and grab your fabric. Walk up. Then straighten your legs. Come to a straddle. Bring your torso in between the fabric. So for the left side, grabbing the left pole with my left hand. My right arm and right shoulder come forward in front of the right pole, and also will grab on to the left pole. So I'm now going to start to let my body rotate, this time to the left. Right here, I'm going to pause. I'm going to release my right hand. I'm going to squeeze my legs together and straighten them. Then I can bend that lower leg if you'd like, and I'm in mermaid. Now to keep coming down, I'm going to rebend the top knee, which is my left. Let my hands start to slide down and bring my head toward the ground and come into chandelier. Good job. Okay, so that's something that you can practice. It's one of my favorite, that mermaid is actually one of my favorite poses because it feels cool, it's super pretty, it's challenging, but it's also you know, with practice, it's very doable. So I encourage you guys to give it a try. I'm gonna add on one more thing to this Little Mermaid flow at the end, and then we'll just go back and do it all together, and then you guys can rewind the tape and do it as many times as you'd like. So the last thing we're gonna do is another fun little pose. It's fairly easy to learn, and it's called Cupid. There are several ways to get into Cupid. This is what I'm gonna show you today. So after we come back down, you're gonna bring the fabric to the front of you. Right leg first, so your right leg only is gonna go over the fabric. Now, depending on how high your fabric is, it really doesn't matter. Mine's fairly low, so my leg is all the way down here. It's okay if you're like this as well. If you wanna spread the fabric out a little bit under your leg, it'll be a little bit less pinchy. I'm gonna then drop my hips down and let the fabric hold the weight of my right leg. I'm gonna grab the left pole with both my hands. I'm gonna let my body swing around the left pole. My left leg is now going to move. So a couple things happen at once. I'm going to be bringing my left leg up and through the center. But at the same time, I'm going to bend my elbows and bring my chest closer to the pole, and then turn my torso so that I come in between the fabric. So watch and see what I mean. My leg comes up through, and I then have bent my arms to pull myself up in between the fabric, and I'm now pushing the fabric away from me. So this is Cupid. I'm gonna roll one more time because you can do the same thing to roll up again. So I'm gonna grab the left pole. Again, I let my body roll to the left side. Now my left leg is going to move. My left leg comes up through the center of the fabric, and I'm pushing my left leg. I'm straightening it. I'm pushing it against the pole as I bend my elbows and pull my body up to Cupid. Now, this does get quite pinchy, but you're not here for long and it looks super cool. Now to come down, I'm going to bring my chest closer to the fabric, and I'm gonna reverse what I did. So I'm now gonna roll backwards, and my left leg is gonna come back through the center. I rolled twice, so I'm gonna do it again. And then you are out. Okay, we'll try the left side once, and then we'll put it all together. So your left leg comes over the fabric. This time, my hands are gonna come to the right pole. I'm gonna let my body fall around the right pole. My right leg moves up through the center of the fabric, and then straighten my right leg, push and pull with my arms to come up. I'll do it again. To come to Cupid. Okay, so to come down, again, I will be reversing what I did. So I'm bringing my chest closer to the fabric, holding on. I'm leaning backwards. My right leg is gonna come up and through the center, and again, through the center. And I'm down. Okay, so let's put the whole thing together one time each side from sitting. So first we'll do sitting on the fabric mermaid, right side. Then we'll come up to goddess, roll down right side mermaid to chandelier, then stand and do right side Cupid, okay? All right, sitting on fabric, right hand to right pole. Start to lean back, my right leg moves up through the fabric, bring my legs together, extend, coming back. Right leg comes up, back through fabric. I come back to seated. Going upside down, coming in to an inversion, then to goddess. Right side again. Grab onto your right pole, lean forward, start to rotate, let go with your left hand, bring your legs together, extend your arms and legs, point your toes, then rebend your right knee, let your head come towards the ground, coming in to chandelier. Then widen your legs, bring yourself back down to the ground, pull the fabric in front of you, right leg goes over the fabric. Both hands come to your left pole, let your body start to rotate around left pole, left leg moves up through the fabric, rolling up to Cupid. I'll roll one more time. There we go. To come down, I reverse it. Rolling backwards, left leg comes through. Once again, left leg comes through. And we're done with the right side. Come back up. Now we'll do the left. So come to seated. Left hand to left pole. Lean back, rotate towards the right side of the room. Your left leg moves up through the center. Bring your legs together, extend. To reverse, leg comes back up through the center, come to seated. We will then come to an inversion, coming to goddess. Both hands to the left pole. I'm rotating left, let go with my right hand, bring my legs together, point my toes, lengthen my arm, then going to rebend my left leg, slide down into chandelier, straddle, come back up. Left side Cupid, fabric comes in front, left leg over the fabric, both hands to the right side, my right leg moves up and through. Once again, coming into Cupid, to come down, I reverse. And there we go. Okay, good job, guys. So that's something you can practice. Let's go ahead to cool down and take a waterfall. So go ahead and lengthen out your fabric. Go ahead and sit into your fabric. Take a few bunches in your hands first. Come to a seat. And then go ahead and lengthen the fabric out and pull it down just like you're going to invert so that it's behind your waist. Hold on to the fabric, lengthen the feet so the fabric covers your toes. And then you can start to walk your hands down and bring your crown of your head towards the floor. My head actually touches the floor right now, depending on how high you are. You can drop your hands back. Just take a few breaths here. Just release. When you're ready, you can walk yourself back up. If you would like to take a nice Shavasana, you have earned it. You can go ahead and go right into that from here. You guys did great. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that Little Mermaid flow. And we'll try to come up with some more stuff for you guys to be able to do at home. So stay safe and healthy. Always be careful. And I wish you guys the best. Love you. Bye.